A University of Idaho professor is officially barred from campus. Some of her students protested today, but tonight her husband is talking to KREM too. Plus, it is set to open in March, promising help for Spokane's homeless and those struggling in other areas too. But what exactly is an Envision Center? We're taking a closer look.
A cloudy and colder day for today, but I'll let you know when temperatures drop even more and when snow is on the way.
It's just sad. She's one of the best instructors here, and they're just trying to cover their tails.
The husband of a U of I professor is speaking out tonight after his wife was recently placed on administrative leave. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Whitney Ward. Mark has the night off. We begin now after students with the University of Idaho got what they call an alarming alert from school administrators today about University of Idaho mass media professor Denise Bennett. She says she was placed on leave shortly after criticizing university grant funding. So this is the message that came through on students' cell phones this morning. It reads, Denise Bennett has been barred from Moscow campus, recent admittance to police of meth use and access to firearms. If seen on campus, please call 911. Now, Bennett has worked at the school since 2006. She is a tenured professor there. Moscow police tell KREM 2 Bennett is not currently under any kind of investigation, but a university spokesperson says they became aware of, quote, concerning behavior the week Bennett was placed on administrative leave. And then they say they got additional information that made them worried for the safety of students, faculty, and staff on campus. Earlier this evening, some students, as you can see, were on campus. They came together to rally for their teacher. We were there as well and caught up with Bennett's husband, who was openly critical of the university's handling of the entire situation.
Denise has been mistreated from the beginning of this incident. The university has lied on every occasion about everything that's happened. She was trying to protect the rights of one of her students, and things got blown out of proportion. They've gone outside the lines and done everything they can to railroad her and lie about the situation, and it's unbelievable. It makes me ashamed to be an alumni at this university.
Now, almost 900 people have already signed a Change.org petition to have Bennett immediately reinstated. This is, of course, a developing story, so we'll make sure to follow it for you and bring you updates as they become available. In other news tonight, the city of Spokane is making its final preparations for the Envision Center. That is a project long in the works to create a hub of services for those struggling to avoid homelessness or get out of it. Staff arrived for the first time last week. It doesn't open to the public until March, but Casey Decker looked into exactly what the services that center will provide and who they'll serve.
If you've heard about the Envision Center at all, you've probably heard that it's designed to help the homeless. And that's true in part. But that's not all it's for. The services are meant to help anyone who's struggling. And those services aren't necessarily being provided by the city directly. Rather, the Envision Center is one central location where numerous organizations can set up shop. Here are just some of the groups committed right now. So what kinds of services will be available? The city is dividing it up into 7 categories: housing, cultural resources, finance, pre-employment, justice, health, and basic needs. Some specific examples: workshops on money management, help enrolling in insurance and dealing with Medicare and Medicaid, and guidance on reintegrating to the community for those who've had run-ins with the law. Now, all this will be located on the 2nd floor of the WorkSource building in East Central. When someone arrives to the Envision Center, a staffer will help them identify their most important needs and then direct them to the right providers. All right, how is all this being paid for? A lot of the money is coming from a federal block grant, and just under $200,000 a year from the city will be used to pay rent. Envision Centers actually exist all around the country. It's a federal program run by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Spokane's version will open to the public in March, open to anyone who wants to try out the services from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
All right, Casey, thank you very much. As we move on to weather now, it's definitely not a polar vortex, but it is going to be a lot colder here in the inland northwest soon. Winter not quite giving up yet. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick standing by in the Weather Center for us tonight just to let us know how cold and when. Hi, Thomas.
Hey there, Whitney. Yeah, as we head into February, still one more month of the meteorological winter ahead of us, so we will still get our fair share of some cold snaps. Today, really not an exception. The clouds never broke.
Highs only 28 in Spokane, and now it looks like there could be a few snowflakes in some of the mountains off to the north. Looks like a small disturbance moving through Republic and Colville, but I'm a little bit hesitant to guarantee that it's snowing because as I look at some of the traffic cameras like the one that is in Colville and US 395, I don't see any snowflakes. The resolution isn't the greatest of images, but I think if anything it might be a few flurries, but definitely no accumulations in the works for tonight. There is a little bit of fog yet again. This has been a trend the last several days here. Half-mile visibility out of Spokane, quarter-mile in Pullman right now, so it looks like there is some dense fog over the Palouse, and with our temperatures below freezing, that means it is freezing fog. So we will see some frost on the cars and perhaps some bridges, but not an incredibly large weather concern for Thursday. Instead, we are watching for rain and snow to move back into the area just in time for the weekend. We'll time out that and let you know when possibly the coldest weather so far this winter hits our area. Those details in just a few minutes.
Thank you very much. Spokane police have arrested a former Lewis and Clark High School student for making social media threats against the school. And it turns out it's not for the first time. 18-year-old Ryan Lee is charged with cyber stalking and felony harassment. Lee was already arrested for similar threats to Lewis and Clark students last year. Police say he is no longer a student anywhere in the Spokane Public School District. Well, more people are still contracting measles cases here in Washington. Right now, there are 39 confirmed cases, 38 over in Clark County, and still just the one in the Seattle area. And there are 13 more suspected cases. But doctors say they want to ease some of your anxieties about your kids catching the measles.
And there's no formal recommendation to be avoiding public spaces. We are hoping to use all the tools in our toolkit to get a handle on this outbreak.
So the outbreak has stretched to Oregon and now Hawaii. 2 children traveling from Washington to the Big Island were diagnosed with measles once they got to Kona. They are now quarantined in a vacation home. Health authorities say at least 30 of the people with confirmed cases were not vaccinated. Experts say a small but growing percentage of people are now starting to believe incorrect theories about the MMR vaccine. So we just want to run through some quick information for you. First, doctors say the slow uptick in the number of cases is fairly normal. Medical professionals say it's rare for people to catch the virus in public places. Actually, it typically spreads between unvaccinated family members or people who are close to infected patients. Now, the biggest question that we have been hearing from people have been saying, okay, I've had the vaccine, can I still get the measles? Doctors say if you've had the first measles shot, you are about 95% immune. And if you've had both shots, then you're close to 100%, about 99%, knowing nothing is 100%. Now keep in mind, it does take another 2 weeks for that vaccination then to fully kick in after you finish that second shot. Another common question is, I had the measles already, can I get it again? Doctors say no. If you know for sure that you had a real case of the measles, you're now immune for life. Medical professionals say it's basically a one and done type of illness. Other people are wanting to know what to do if they're just not sure if they've been vaccinated. Doctors say there's actually no harm in getting a new vaccine. You can get one at the doctor's office or even just a pharmacy just to stop in. Doctors also say if you do have more questions, just ask. We also have a link to some questions and answers on our website. Just go to KREM.com. There is a new study from Washington State University that shows Eastern Washington has a higher mortality rate than our neighbors on the west side. Researchers found in 10 out of 11 of Washington's leading causes of death, the numbers are higher here in Eastern Washington as opposed to the west side.
If you look at cardiovascular disease, if you look at diabetes, some of those discrepancies really stand out east-west. Issues as far as Alzheimer's is one of the big discrepancies. East and west both are significant. The state as a whole is well above the national average.
Researchers say they still have more questions and they'll continue to study these mortality rates. The hope is, of course, to eventually find new ways of lowering those risk factors for people living on both sides of the state. All right, here's something a lot of us will cheer for no matter where you are in the state. The Washington Department of Ecology is phasing out those dreaded vehicle emissions tests that you have to get in order to get your tabs. So it seems our air quality is on track to improve. So what does that mean for this year? We'll let you know next.